and your job is to get yourself to stand up. Okay, and our job also is to not hurt her.
Oh,
Okay, all right, go. Oh, she's pretty strong.
Nice.
Pretty strong gal. Okay, so what I want you to do is actually to experience. I know that's so simple, but I want you to feel it, and I want you to take a turn also standing. So, do you guys want to try this?
Not with my tailbone right now.
Okay.
But Kim might want to.
Sure. Yeah. So maybe we'll just do it. We'll do it as one group, but we'll get in a couple. We'll find the role a little bit. Okay. So we'll do it again. Actually, why don't you come up? Yeah. You'll each get a chance in the chair. Okay.
Pinky so strong.
Okay. And go. Okay. Okay. So let's put Kim in the chair.
Oh, great.
I'm going to use two hands.
You guys both strong. Can we use 2 hands?
Do what you need to do.
Okay.
Just don't hurt her. Okay. Go. Okay, and then let me be the kid. Come on, because everybody has this kid. Are you ready? You know, they're going to outsmart you no matter what, right? Okay, so what I want you to do for a minute is think about when you were the kid in the chair. What were you feeling and thinking about?
How hard is this going to be? Am I going to be able to get up?
Okay,
Am I gonna look silly if I can't get up?
okay.
If I spread my legs farther apart, I'll be able to balance out.
Okay, so you're feeling super determined and thinking about how to be strategic.
Yeah,
Okay,
strategic there.
and you're feeling a little embarrassed or concerned about humiliation and thinking, I got to make sure I can do this. Okay.
And I felt hesitant that I could even do it.
Okay. Now, with those thoughts and feelings, now what were you deciding to do?
Gonna do it, no matter what.
Okay.
It would be worse if I didn't try.
Okay. Now, as an adult, what did it feel like? What were you thinking and feeling?
I was thinking, I'm really out of my comfort zone, they're touching me, and I better stand up fast.
Okay, as the adult, I'm sorry,
Oh,
as the adult.
I was thinking,
In control.
I don't want to hurt this person, but I understand the point of this is to apply pressure, but not so much pressure. I don't know.
In the moment, did anybody, like you started like, ooh, I really don't want to do this to this person, but then once it started, did you almost lose yourself and you're like, I'm gonna get, you know, I'm
At
gonna.
first I wouldn't do it, and then I was like, okay, I'll just let it happen.
So you
went
might
easy
have,
on me. All right.
Yeah.
Well, no, not really. Just when you stood up, I thought, oh, I'm such a jerk, I shouldn't.
so was anybody comfortable in the child's role of sort of being controlled? Was anybody comfortable in the adult role of doing the controlling?
No.
Even you said you started and then you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So why would we do that as teachers? I mean, that simple little example, why would we think about it that way?
Just to give a perspective of when you try to control people or try to control the students, that doesn't maybe feel as good as you think. Having control over them is something that they probably are not going to like.
And you might not like it either.
Right.
Yeah. And with all the control that was applied, every single one of us were able to stand up. So
Right.
even that control actually was quite
Kind of like
ineffective.
Is it appropriate to try to be in control of the situation without making it seem as if you're in control? So like, or maybe, I don't know if control is the right word, but to have a handle on the situation?
Well, we're
without making it seem
teachers.
like-
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how, I don't know, like, would it be fair to say you are in control of the situation?
What do you guys think?
Give me an example, like what kind of situation are you talking about?
So if two
yes.
children are in conflict, you know what they're in conflict about, you know how to handle it, so you feel as if you are in control because you have the resources to make sure that
let them
it.
Yeah,
figure
but
it
you
out.
need to,
Yes.
you need to be able to let them figure it out, but yeah,
But you can
That's
still
what I'm
be in
saying.
control,
They don't
but
feel
just
like
have to make it like they're the ones kind of solving the problem themselves.
I just wanna know if that was appropriate terminology.
well, I guess by you being in
Honest-
control, it'd
honest
be you
terminology.
giving them the tools to be able to try and problem solve it themselves.
So we could put it this way. Are there benefits of being in control? In general, in life?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it come with some liabilities? you know, to sort of like, what is it, what are some great things about having control, and what does it invite from others when we are very in control all the time, and not allowing other people to be in control. So there's always two sides of the coin, right? Okay, now, compare that to, okay, wait, back up. As a child, look up on the red list. What were we sort of being drawn towards? Or what, is there anything on the red list that was sort of inviting us to engage in when we were being controlled like that?
Defiance.
Okay?
Genie, whenever you scoot it out.
Anxiety.
Sure. Okay? Now, were we learning anything on the green list when we were under control, like, or when we were being controlled?
Open-mindedness and problem solving, I guess. I was like, how am I gonna get out of this situation? But that's a different mindset.
Yeah, maybe. And as teachers, or as, you know, the adult being the controller, were we modeling things on the green list? No. So we were actually inviting things on the red list, but not really modeling things on the green list. Okay, generally speaking. These are all metaphoric. I know you guys aren't controlling people, and yet we do have to look at in what ways are we controlling kids without realizing that they're being controlled. You got a comment about that? No. Okay, seemed like you were about to say something. So let's contrast that to cooperation. And everybody's gonna have fun with this one, I hope. So, will you stand up and make a circle? And I don't think this will bother you, Kelly, hopefully not. So, okay, so I've got a ball. Actually, I have.
I know.
I was picking your button.
Really?
I'm like, it's hard to
Yeah, how about you there?
Whatever. We were on in Clementsville, there's 2 houses, we were in one of them. It's farmland.
Okay, our goal is to juggle all these balls as a group. So,
Oh, wow.
juggling means lots of balls in the air at the same time. So let's be real clear about what juggling is, okay? So here we go.
You gotta use communication.
Oh, so what's that, Brooke?
Communication, so you have to say,
Okay, so let's everybody hold a ball for just a minute. Let's all grab a ball. Okay, so I'm hearing that maybe we weren't real effective with that juggling, and so you want, what does that look like?
So communication, you would say, you would either look at somebody or you would say their name, and then you guys would switch, and then you would keep switching and make sure that you know what's going on or who you're throwing to.
Okay, so maybe let's try one ball at a time, and I heard communication, I heard pattern. So what do you mean by pattern?
well, just have a pattern to how you're doing it so people know what to expect.
Like
Okay.
who's throwing to
I don't
where you
know what that's
receive from, well, like who you're receiving it from and who you're throwing it to next.
Okay, so you said using their name and following the same pattern. Any other ideas?
Eye contact.
Eye contact?
Like if we always did the same thing, like technically she could pass me and I could pass her, and kind of like,
Yeah. But would we, I don't know if we define that as juggling. When I think juggling, there's sort of a lot of direction and, okay. So, but if we could use a pattern that it might not be quite as direct as just next to you.
yeah, so always one, always,
Okay.
always, is that always the
Sure,
same person
okay.
where you're
So
talking
how about if we
about?
put our hands in front so we know who's received the ball? Okay, let's put it, go ahead, just put out your hands in front. And then once you've had a chance receiving the ball, you put your hands down. So here, so everybody's hands are out, and I'll say, Brooke,
Sarah.
Jen?
and then we'll come back to me. Awesome. Okay, let's improve on that. So we did pretty well, right? We got one out.
Not really.
Not too bad. Okay, I observed that we were saying names, but we went pretty quick. Should we slow down just a tiny bit to take baby steps? So here we go. I'm gonna really make eye contact. Brooke. We'll go same order.
Sarah.
Kelly. Jen.
Brooke.
Sarah.
Kim.
Brooke.
Kim.
Sarah.
Kim.
Brooke.
Kim.
Wow, we lost it for a minute. We had it going. We
I
can do
didn't say your
We used to
Kelly.
do these with
Jody.
baby babies.
Jody.
I know, I need that name, that does help me. Okay, let's try again. We can do this, Okay, so we'll all have the same
I
starting
think
point.
also it's about like being able to
You have to
focus
pay
when there's such
attention when
chaotic
you're-
things going on.
Yeah, when other things are going on, you wanna make sure that when you're tossing, you're not gonna toss at the same time.
So am I hearing you say we're gonna slow down a little bit?
Well, you might need to stall, some people need to go up high.
Hit Jen in the chest, right here.
We know that. Or the other Jen, that's over there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Lightweight there.
why don't you guys finalize that plan? I'm grabbing something here. Finalize your plan, because I'm hearing a lot of good
I'd say
ideas.
another difference was to have some go up, like
Oh.
when she passes to you, she can go down. I
Yeah,
can
so
go
you just
up.
have to pay attention.
I'd like to go up. Can I go up?
Mhm.
Okay,
Are
you
you
can go
going
up.
up or are you going down?
I don't care.
Well, by the
Middle?
time,
I don't know
well,
where I'm
but
going.
you never know when it's gonna happen,
Right.
so you just have to
Right.
pay attention.
All right.
Okay, all right, so here we go.
Try not to get in the way of it.
So we're going a little bit we're going a little bit slower. We're gonna go a little bit slower, and we're gonna, what else did I hear I was getting?
So we're gonna go a little bit slower, we're going to watch and stall, throw higher or lower, depending on
Okay.
if the person next to us is gonna throw across. the
Okay,
center.
and we're gonna say names. Yes, okay.
And maybe if you're receiving the ball, just focus on the person that's throwing it. And
Oh, and then, okay, good, so just
Yeah,
lock
that's
in on your, on the person you receive from. As soon as you throw, lock in. Okay, here we go, Brooke,
Sarah,
Kim,
Brooke,
Kelly, Sarah, Jen,
Kim,
Jody, Kelly,
Brooke,
Jody, Sarah,
Brooke,
Kim,
Sarah,
Brooke.
Kim,
Jen, Sarah,
Jody, Kim,
Brooke, Jody, Kelly, Sarah,
Kim,
Jody,
Brooke.
Kim,
Kelly,
Kim,
Kelly,
Kim,
Kelly, Kelly,
Kim,
Kelly.
Is that like a Richard?
Yeah!
Look alive, Kelly.
Awesome, I know, we knew this was coming.
well, I just needed to
You
know,
threw a wrench at
Ah, yeah, so,
Sarah was like,
She's like, be careful, be careful.
yeah, I know, it's coming. Okay, so process this, first of all, why would I do this right after we did this controlling thing? Because what is
there's
this?
always going to be a wrench thrown into.
Oh, even before the wrench, the
Oh.
activity.
Um,
What does it
Help us
represent?
learn to collaborate.
yeah, it's about collaboration, I think.
Yes, so this is actually an activity called cooperative juggling, and you could totally do it with kids. I don't know that I would do a wrench, not with young ones, unless it was phony or something, because this is gonna stress them out, right? But I would, we'll go there in a minute, but this idea of cooperative juggling, I would totally do this with kids. And if you do it, I would get easier balls than this. I would get balls that are a little bit bigger, and like those ones that are sticky, or the sensory balls, they have like bumps on them, they're very easy to catch. And I would go very slow, and maybe just one day see if you can do one ball, and then another time add 2 balls. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun, and see, with kids, we don't have to rush it. I'm trying to do all this in 8 days, and with kids, just take your time. Oh, you guys want to try that juggling again today? You know, and you just have some fun, and then you try it, and that's your meeting. You're building communication, and all of that. Okay, so then process afterwards. Okay, talk to me. What were you thinking as we juggled today? What were you thinking and feeling?
This is really fun.
It's fun. Yesterday when I asked you that, you were feeling sort of anxious.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't feel very skilled.
Yeah.
So today you had fun because we practiced. Okay.
Do you ever find with kids that they have a hard time? One of my biggest concerns is in these moments of debriefing and thinking about my own son in particular, that I worry he won't get into it. Like, he'll get into the game, but not the debriefing after. Or he'll be like, yeah, because we go back to, you know, the world we live in and how high paced
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so let me show you another way you can debrief. I want you to stand next to a partner. I'll be your partner, you guys be partners. All right, I want you to think of 3 words words that describe your thoughts or feelings about what we just did.
Fun, challenging,
Okay? And
yeah.
awesome. Now with your partner, tell them what you would like to do with this experience or with this information.
I want to do it.
And I'm like,
And I kind of want to be able to do it in class.
okay, and now last thing with your partner, think about if you how this might relate to your life. You know, maybe you're not going to become a professional juggler, but what about this activity might help you as a person? I like communicating with people instead of these verbal awareness. And my partner work together. One person. So just focus on the person anyway. Okay, stop. So there's one way.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're doing much better with that.
Yeah, and I would just mix it up. You're short for time. All right, 3 volunteers that are willing to share their thoughts and feelings today. And I'm specifically, I go thoughts and feelings first, and what did that lead you to decide to do that you were deciding? And I'll tell you later why we go in that order, but just sort of thoughts and feelings, what are you deciding to do? In a big class, we're so small we can't do it, but, well, we can, sort of. We can put 3 people back to back as a circle, so in your case, you could put 10 people in the inner circle, and then 10 people in an outer circle. And let's just try that, and we'll pretend this is a circle, and you'll be hurt with her. Okay, so you're with you're talking to a partner, like that. All right, and then you can do the same thing where, okay, 3 words that describe your experience. Okay, now the inner circle, we're going to be like a clock, and we're going to go 2 people to the right. Wave at the person that you pass along the way. Here we go. Say hi. Hi. Keep going, and stop. Okay, just throw out blah, 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 blah. So the same process, yeah. So the inner outer circle is just fun to do. And then you get the outer circle moving, and it just gets a lot, everybody's sharing at once.
Movement.
Cute. Okay. Now, why the wrench?
Because sometimes in life, things don't always go as you're expecting them to go, and so the wrench wasn't something you were expecting. You were expecting a yellow smiley ball.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to go with the flow.
So what could you use instead of a wrench with young kids? You might be able to.
You could use an eraser, like a soft something to wipe off the chalkboard or.
Okay. Yeah, just any other object.
Anything
You'd be like,
that's not
whoa,
gonna-
why are you throwing this at? You could get a rubber chicken. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Just something.
A whoopee
Because
cushion.
life is full of surprises, and we can't explain to kids, all right, guys, life is full of unexpected things, and we really have to learn how to be resilient, blah, 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 blah. That just doesn't relate to them. But that's on our list. So we just have these experiences and then afterwards you say, what was that like when something came your way and you weren't expecting it? And you're relating it to this fun activity, but look at the words I just used. What was that like when things came your way and you weren't expecting that? What were you feeling at that moment? Sometimes surprises are fun, sometimes surprises aren't fun, so let them kind of process that. And you could throw in different wrenches at different times. Let's say you get really good at juggling and your class is up to 4 balls and you can do 3 rounds in under 2 minutes. And you're so good at it, throw another wrench at it. And then you're like, oh, I totally messed up our flow, Yeah. Hey, guess what? We're gonna have a fire drill today. It's gonna mess with your flow, potentially. So I'm gonna tell you now, you have a wrench coming your way today. They might not know that expression, by the way, throw a wrench into it. So you might obviously have to share that with them. But I'm telling you in advance, you're going to have an unexpected surprise today. And it's going to happen sometime around 9:30. I don't know exactly when, but I'd like you to be aware that it's coming your way. So you kind of have to scaffold in wrenches. Yeah. Okay, So I sort of do this for us, the wrench, because our wrenches are pretty real and pretty scary sometimes. Or you're in the middle of a lesson, someone barks, sometimes they're just gross, right? Okay, so I think that's, am I about at my half hour? Of course, I haven't gotten everything I wanted to do, but we did other things.
You have 9 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Okay, awesome. So then let's do one more thing. And what I wanted to get to today was a little bit more like positive discipline, like the key elements, but we're going to save that for first thing tomorrow. But I want us to think about superiority for just a minute, since we kind of talked about control. And I want us to think about over time in history, relationships that have existed that created a top-down superiority, inferiority. So I'll give an example. I'll say king or royalty and peasant. Anything through time, current or past?
Hitler.
Okay, so not specific, that would be sort of,
Like CEO, is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Board
okay,
CEO,
so, yeah,
department
so
manager.
king, dictator, whatever, no, it's fine, I didn't, versus citizen even, okay? But, yeah, so could we just say boss, employee, whether that was CEO or administrator or whatever that would be?
Or-
Child.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do, is it okay if I just say adult?
Yeah.
Child, because that parent-child we could interpret that as even a grandparent, a neighbor, or even a teacher. So we could maybe even say teacher. Student. How about male?
Unfortunately, sadly.
How about white or light skin? And dark skin.
Religious leaders versus followers.
Okay? All right, followers. Okay, let me ask now, we have sort of this top-down hierarchy. What are power tools that this strata used to create an inferiority with the strata on the bottom?
Fear.
Okay? Others.
Experience.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just you have more years, like parents have, more experience and more knowledge and more abilities.
So maybe even with that experience, we could add the word assumptions that because of my experience I know more or I have more wisdom or something like that. Okay?
Manipulation.
Physical.
Manipulation. What would that look like?
So for a long time, females couldn't purchase land, and so in order for a female to have a home, she had to submit to her husband.
So we could say manipulation through laws or rules,
Yeah.
right? Are there other ways we've manipulated?
Emotions. If you make someone codependent.
So kind of emotional abuse. Okay, going back to Hitler, what did he use for manipulation?
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
What about, when you do your light skin and dark skin, or male and female, I can't help but think, like some of that's tradition, isn't it? Or, I don't know if that's the right word.
Okay?
I think some of it is, some people have more time. Like, for example, with the whole male going out and working, women have babies and then they've got a nurse, and their time and focus is occupied in these other things, so people are free to go out and do, or to manipulate, or.
So time is filled with responsibility.
The gender roles,
But also like power, like force.
Okay, physical, sure. I'll just say physical force or any physical means. How about education?
Money too.
So we use money as a power tool, education, lack of education or access to education, or what we're actually educating, what we're teaching or perpetuating.
The network.
Promises.
Circumstances.
Okay. Now, let me stop you there and ask, what were the group down here thinking and feeling about this situation?
What are they thinking and feeling?
And maybe even deciding about the
I
situation,
think there's some security if you just kind of believe some of the promises, there's security in it.
okay?
Resentment?
And maybe even a little bit of both.
Fear?
And what might they be
Not a
just
choice, what's
Control.
control?
resigned?
Accepting of whatever it is.
Okay.
If it's manipulation, they probably just accept it.
Okay, and what might they be deciding to do?
Passive aggressive? Retaliate?
Retaliate, passive aggressive, maybe do nothing.
Defiance?
Subservient.
Defiance. Just do it, just be subservient, okay?
Or
Accept
like
it.
with the box employee, they're gonna try to get more education and try to go up in the rank.
It's interesting, some would interpret, okay, I'm just gonna be more determined, and others would be like, I'm just that much
Yeah.
more resigned. Yeah, and I think obviously we've seen both. Okay, so what would they be thinking, feeling, deciding about themselves?
Not worth as much.
Okay, devalued, unworthy. Any other thoughts about that?
Inferior? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So this is sort of our place of inferiority. And this style, which is very prevalent still, is referred to as laddership. Climbing a ladder, it's hierarchy, it's top down, it's a vertical relationship, right? So let's think about, I wanna, excuse me, just 1 minute, because I wanna refer to this one little quote here. Okay. Going here, what sort of tools, we talked about power tools, what sort of tools might we need to get people working more collaboratively, or people feeling, being a little bit more valued?
With this-
Asking opinion.
Okay, asking opinions, others?
Setting up a culture where people are rewarded for good ideas.
What do you mean by rewarded?
Just acknowledged, or, there's lots of different ways to reward, whether it be verbal or having some kind of incentive program, but
Okay. I would challenge, we might consider that a place where good ideas are valued and acknowledged and accepted and even encouraged.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Other things that would help create,
Appreciated.
okay?
Admitting flaws.
So dispersing ownership,
So, dispersing, delegating, and bringing more people in, getting more involvement.
yeah, but more than that, like there's not very many schools, but some that are run without an administrator that are run by the teachers.
Okay?
And they all come together and they share administrative duties and figure it out.
So shared duties. My daughter is going to a school that 2/3 of the board are children, students, high schoolers
Where's it from?
in Boise.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Okay, other things that sort of help people work together and diminish this verticalness.
Just training, cross-training and, specialty training and, like having somebody not just train you, but come in and, in the context of a school situation, but actually working with you on implementing successful, like, strategies or methods or teaching methods or,
Strategic training, implementation. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I want to share what I think about is now you've got everybody with sort of a shared vision. There's sort of a mutual understanding and agreement towards the same thing. And I don't think this group back there has a shared vision, right? So, and with a shared vision comes sort of a lot of responsibility, because now you are accountable to yourself and to the group. So this model is, I'm gonna draw like this arrow towards this shared vision. This is leadership. And you are in a school building like this. And it's not always violent or, you know, I mean, we've got some pretty strong words here, but time is filled with responsibility. There's pretty clear roles and such. There's rules and laws, and education's kind of controlled by the adults and such. And so, what a gift. You guys are in a place intellectually as Montessorians, but also sort of collectively as people doing something really innovative that is building leadership. And I don't think there's a teacher out there that wouldn't tell you they don't want to build leaders. And then I would ask them, what are you doing in your classroom that's actually doing it, that's guiding you towards that? So we refer to sort of the differences between laddership and leadership, which I really like seeing it that way. And thanks for bringing that whole idea of shared, dispersing responsibilities, because you guys are in a really unique position for that. Yeah, really unique.
So, but it's not an easy thing to do. Like the
No.
reason why, I would say, you know, the structures out there, 99% of them follow that laddership, right? I mean, because it's safe, it's easier.
She brought that up, yes.
And, you know, it's like, it's a natural, like, way to flow into, I think. But, so the leadership, I mean, optimally, you get a better, if you can do it successfully, you get a much better outcome,
Yes.
right? Because diversity of ideas and, you know, everybody comes together. But the reality is that it's harder to achieve that kind of environment.
And what keeps us? Why is it hard to go there? Why is this still so prevalent?
Because that's what we know, that's what we've always experienced.
This isn't easy. If it was easy, more people would be doing
Well,
it.
it's not just that, it's the fact that, you know, in order to have that, you have to have a group of people who are really willing to come together, step up, take ownership, take initiative, be highly collaborative, be willing to step into situations that are risky and make you vulnerable emotionally and be open. I mean, it requires a group of people coming together that are really mature and willing to take on that accountability and that ownership.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with the word, I mean, mature is something we're all striving at times to have, but a sense of taking ownership and really like being willing to get out of your comfort zone even.
Yeah.
I like the word vulnerable and risky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is we don't really have any models. I mean, think of us as females in the room, you know.
Your lid's off your blue marker.
Oh, thank you. Think about I mean, if you think about the laddership relationships that you and I have experienced, you know, I'm guessing as females, we have experienced some level of inferiority, maybe how we, you know, how our gender role models. I heard my mother say the most disgusting thing the other day, and I just couldn't believe she said that, you know, and I called her out on it. She was so embarrassed, but I was at her house, we were having a family party, and my brother was washing dishes. And she really just wanted him to, like, everybody to not do dishes and just go play, and we'll clean up later. But she just was like, Ryan, just go relax. And she finally said, come on, there's a lot of women in the house to take care of this. You know, and I just went, what? You know, so, but, you know, if that's my reality, that's what I came from. You know what I mean? So do you think I could step into that sometimes a little bit easier without even realizing that I'm doing that? And we have all been we've all been in this relationship, student and teacher. Now we're here, but we were raised here. So we've all experienced being down there. And now we're experiencing, you know, as adults, as parents, as teachers, being here, and how we're gonna shift that around, you know, it's a big change, it's a big paradigm shift. Like, we know we want it, but we don't have role models that are skillfully showing this to us very well.
But, like, that's why at some point we're gonna be taking tours of Adobe. We're gonna have some of the Adobe people in here who are gonna be able to, like, look at what we're doing and say, okay, this would fit in an Adobe world, or this wouldn't fit in an Adobe world. Because I do think that there are organizations that are successfully doing the leadership model. Yeah, so myself included, vulnerable, and I feel like I need a new set of tools, and there are areas where I need to mature in, you know, in order to be in that.
And I'll let you in on a secret. Montessori doesn't default to that. We can't assume because we're a Montessori school or a Montessori-based school that that's then what we know. Montessori is compatible with that, but it does not default to that. There is still a lot of top-down things going on in Montessori schools. Good, bad, and different. So yes, there's elements of us needing to be sort of in control of the schedule and presentations and holding kids accountable and rigor and all of that. But as teachers, we've all come into this profession sort of in love with hearing ourselves talk often. And so myself really included on that. And so there is a lot of surrender that we have to give to empower students to go there with us. And it's gonna take us definitely out of our comfort zone and a tremendous amount of stress, no pun intended there, or Freudian slip I should say, a tremendous amount of trust in ourselves, in each other, and ultimately in the students. Yeah. Okay. So let's end with that and just kind of let that percolate. I want you to think about that over you know, the course of the day. We meet tomorrow. What are we doing that's compatible with our vision, compatible with Montessori, that's going to lead us on this horizontal path of leadership? You know, that we're modeling that style of leadership, that our students are emerging as these kinds of leaders from the middle, from the back, from the front. You know, there's place for everyone to show leadership. We can kind of think about that. Okay, so let's just kind of talk about what to do next. So we're sort of done with this positive discipline piece. Tell me what you think about it, though. Let me just hear feedback as far as sort of what we've done this morning. Helpful? Yeah.
So I've been taking notes. I think one of the things that I always like, teachers just about more than any profession have a lot of professional development, and then it's easy to get excited and like it, and then you get to the classroom environment and you're like, but how do I implement it? And so that's one of my concerns. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm eating up everything that you're saying, but I'm wondering how we're going to implement it. And then the other thing is that, like, okay, so we did the exercise where we mentioned the challenges. You know, we identified our qualities, or, you know, what we want from the school or from the students. The thing about the reptilian brain, then we moved to, you know, the things that make us upset and how to get us back to calm. And we did bugs and wishes, and we did wrenches, and we did superior inferiority. But I don't really see, like, how this is all coming together. Like, in the individual components, I get it. Like, I like it, I get it. But I'm having a hard time seeing the structure of what we're experiencing.
Okay.
But implementation to me is really a really big deal, because it's great to learn these things, but unless we know how to implement them and we do it successfully, like we've wasted time.
Right. So often this is a 2-day workshop, and we would just be going right into the next thing. And we can do that if you want. We can just say, you know what? Why don't we just blitz through this in 2 days and get the whole big picture? And then I think you'll see all these pieces coming together. Or take it in smaller chunks. I had smaller chunks because I figured you guys are sitting in your seats going, I really need to go cut and laminate and organize or whatever it is that hopefully you're not doing too much.
I would say,
that
I feel
parents
like we
can
just
do,
need to
but-
be, we're present here with you, like, I feel like we should just kind of be present and not worry about that other stuff, so.
Yeah, but that other stuff is real, and so that's why I thought just a little chunk at a time, but you're ready for more, like, how does this come together? I think it will, so,
And it's not, sometimes it's nice to, I'm not saying to jam it all in today or over 2 days or whatever. I'm just saying it'd be nice to see a framework so I could see when we're going through these pieces, you know, kind of how everything comes together. Just kind of like when you're reading something, you're told, look at the table of contents, skim through the book, then come back to the table of contents, and then read the book. You know, and is that
yeah,
it?
so we're sort of building a house, and we're still sort of down here.
Okay.
And giving this sort of thought-provoking stuff to get our minds to buy in, which I'm not implying that you aren't buying in, that I have to convince you. But it's interesting dialogue to have. We now, as a team, should be able to, at a staff meeting, when we're being reflective, okay, is this feeling like leadership or leadership? You know, like now we have phrases that we can use together, or this flipping a lid, or guys, as a team, I feel like as a team we're kind of stewing, and as a team we need to do something to pull us back together. What's going to help in our our cauldron? You know what I mean? Do we need to go have a dinner together? Do we need to, you know, do you guys need donuts on Fridays? You know, whatever. Hopefully not. That's a really crappy way to go. But hopefully some of what we're doing we can apply in terms of being on the same page. That's what I mean by buy-in. And then where I'm going is a few more pieces of redefining misbehavior. And then we're gonna get into a place with a lot of strategies.
Excuse me.
So I think of what I'm trying to do is give you all, and that's why I even brought this, like I'm trying to give you all a toolbox. And then I'm gonna fill it with a lot of tools to use. But right now, I'm kind of defining the box.
Okay. So, you know, the language, what you said about language is really powerful. Can we put, and I don't know how you typically do that, but can we put a big Post-it note about, you know, in handbook to flip my lid, or, you know, just remind us what the ways that we're going to communicate are?
So kind of the lingo.
Are we leadership or laddership? I really like that one. I feel as a team we're stewing. But these are like our common, that's where it's giving us the tools.
Okay, so we're gonna say common lingo. It's just like, so we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
So we have flip lid
Yep.
and laddership to leadership, or versus leadership. Any others that have come out?
But even like giving us the like, I like the way you said, you know, hey, do you guys think this is laddership or leadership? Like, you know, it just, when I did positive discipline as an example with my kids, like some of the phrases I took directly from the book because I didn't have that language before. Like I didn't have a way of saying it. And so I started using it, and then it resonated. So, I mean, we can talk about leadership versus laddership, but if somebody's not asking the question in the right way, then, you know, it's not translating from academics into practical life.
Okay, so then we're not only identifying some of the common lingo, but sort of, you guys can keep this poster, we're agreeing that these are the words that we'll use because it'll trigger consensus, or
Yeah.
hopefully consensual understanding.
Right, so people don't say, that
Yeah.
sounds like, again, like she's controlling me.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't,
don't
you know,
psychologize me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, okay, when we're feeling this way, this is the language we're going to use. Is
Yeah.
everybody good with that, you know?
Yeah.
So-
So I also wrote down resiliency window, especially if you're like, you know what guys, I'm moving next week, and I can just already tell you my resiliency window is gonna be smaller than normal. I need a little, you know, that's
Yeah.
a nice term. I wrote the word wrench. That's sort of a term we can use, like, guys, I need to throw a wrench at you. I'm sorry, but whatever it is, it's, you know, I'm really sorry, but here's the wrench, and I don't know that I can change this for you, so we're gonna have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Any other sort of terms or lingo things that we can be continuing with so far?
So, you know how you said you wanna go through this? I'm hearing, like, my personal thought, I guess I'll just share. I like the idea of doing it a little bit each day, as long as we get the whole concept before Jody leaves us this week.
Yeah.
And that we know, once Jody leaves, what we're doing.
Like, we're practicing it by the time she leaves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to maybe go through, if you guys feel comfortable, but like maybe some of the things that we've hit up against a wall as a team or sticking points, and maybe we practice these things, if you guys feel comfortable. You know, the other thing on common lingo is when we're checking ourselves, like, are we exhibiting what we're expecting from our students? Like this, you know, the qualities or gifts, are we modeling for them the quality or gifts that we want our students to have? I don't know if you said it, I don't know if you wrote it up there, but I feel as a team we are stewing.
But I worry about covering those before we have all the correct pieces in place. But,
I don't know.
Like, you mean how to like deal with it, or how to respond to it, or?
right?
I think what I'm hearing you say is just being able to use these experiences in our observations. Hey, I notice it feels like our pot is really full and we're kind of starting to bubble over. I'm sensing that we're doing that, and I want everybody to pause for a minute and think personally what might help you right now in this moment personally, and then I'm open to any ideas that what might help us as a team. And so what I'm hearing, Jen, is that you want to be held accountable as a group to this, and so whoever is at the helm, weekly staff meetings would be revisiting and modeling this and leading each other, but also some sense of leadership of bringing us back to this, anchoring us back to this when we're losing it.
Yeah. And I don't want to, see, I grew up like the youngest of like 5 kids, and my older sister was just very controlling. And so, like, I hate like the whole control thing. I'd rather just have everybody come together. So when you say one person's holding everybody accountable, I think maybe it's not one person holding everybody accountable, but it's a structure of the meeting where we say, you know, are we doing this or are we, and it's just a part of the structure. You know, it's just a part of who we are, and it's a part of what we do. And, you know, if we can have some automatic systems or structures in place that everybody, like, holds themselves accountable, that would be ideal.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I started a list of tools or exercises that we've done that we can go back to and realize, oh wait, I am walking away with tools. We actually are getting somewhere. So I've written down, and you tell me if we've done more, but I've written down bugs and wishes. There's layers to each of these, right? I wrote down group juggling with some form of a wrench. Eventually, again, there's layers to that. The first day literally might just be a mess. And if that's all you have time for that day, you can go, you know what, we've got to come up with some ideas, brainstorm a few, try it once, and then we're done. You know, and then tomorrow, okay, let's bring that back out. Anybody else want to add something to the brainstorm list? Okay, let's try. And then that's one ball. And then the next day, 2 balls. And, you know, then maybe a timer. And so these all can become something that, you know, we've done as adults once we got the concept. With kids, you'll have to decide how much time they need. I don't know your students. You don't know your students, right? Okay, then pair share, where we did this. Or circle share with the twisting, you know, I think of like combination locks going different directions, you know, and you can really mix that up. Inner circle moves, outer circle moves, you know. Can you think of any other, we did the please be seated thing, like the control thing, but I don't really see that as a tool that you would really do with kids, most likely. I would be a little tenuous on that. But you could certainly discuss, well, there's an activity in here. Have you ever been controlled? Have you ever controlled others? And then you contrast, like, what that felt like. So you could do something along those lines. Any other things we've done that you think would be helpful in the classroom? The pot, the simmering pot. How about the taking the,
It's E-R-I-N-G, S-I-M.
oh my gosh, simming. Simmering pot, I'm going too fast. This, sort of taking like a quick, like gut, using, not that it's a gut feeling, but like using this private little way to take, I don't know how you want to call that, maybe you'll remember that.
Temperature gauge, I don't know, like
A weather check.
yeah.
But it's not always, it could be literally just, can you, let me know if you got, if you met your goal for work today. And it's just like, yes, I did, no, I didn't, or almost. It could, so it's not always just about how you're feeling. Sometimes it's literally just a, quick thing there. Okay, so I guess we're at a point where we need to make a decision to keep going a little while longer and start so that we can get to the big picture quicker, or if we stop and wait till tomorrow.
I think, just from a filming perspective, which I think is important, I don't know if we're ready. I've got to go home and I've got to get like a cord to download video on my.
Mine's still recording right now, but, I'd like to just have the teachers say what they think.
I think I'd like to end here, because there's a lot to ponder and a lot that's helped, and I kind of want to take like 15 minutes to digest, because I have learned a lot, and I don't have a good memory, so I need it.
I'm good either way.
Yeah,
I'm going to challenge you publicly, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're emotionally honest here. I'm guessing it wouldn't sit great with you if your student said to you, because I don't have a good memory. And you would probably turn to that student and say, I think what I'm hearing you say is you've learned a lot and you want to let it sink in time and allow it to sort of take root. So rather than you saying you don't have a good memory, just state what your need is. Your need is to stop and let it take root. Because I think you do have a good memory. You just finished Westminster training. Goodness sakes, if you're a college graduate, of course you have a good memory. And it's because when kids make those self-deprecating statements, I would challenge them, do those statements help us get here? Or do they make us feel a little stuck and we might resort to doing things over here without, kind of as a defense?
No, that's a good note to remember.
Yeah, so, and I think you ought to be able to do that. When you make statements like, I'm not good at that, I'm not good at that, or that's really hard for me. That's really hard for me is a very honest statement. I'm not good at that, I would consider like self-deprecating. Challenge each other. Hey, wait a minute, we agreed that rather than phrasing our weaknesses as what we can't do, we phrase them as I'm working towards something.
So how do we nicely, I wouldn't say you called her out, but you pointed out to her, that's something we don't want our students to do. How do we do that for each other without it?
We could ask, are we demonstrating leadership or confidence or, a love of learning when we put ourselves down? I heard you put yourself down. I think I want to give you more credit, but more importantly, I want you to give more credit. Could you rephrase that in a way that shows equality? I'm really working on retaining information when it comes at me like a fire hose, Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, yeah.
How are you guys gonna do it for each
Well, I
other?
guess I'm looking at it from my perspective and hearing that you challenged her, and in a way, you didn't belittle her or anything in front of us. Which is extremely healthy.
So, I'm gonna add a tool. It's called curiosity questions. And that's something we can use with each other and with kids. I wonder, when you make a statement, if what you're really saying is, and then you rephrase it for them, you know? Or, so you just sort of explore with curiosity questions that don't have a judgment to that. And that's a tool you might try to with each other. And you could say, if the trigger is the word I wonder, or the trigger is I'm curious. I'm curious about that. If you can agree that the statement I wonder or I'm curious is the trigger to each other, that I'm challenging you in a helpful way. And I trust that you can hear my positive, helpful intention behind that. And that if you are not okay with that right now, you're going to show me. So that's utilizing a couple tools. Would the terms I'm curious or I wonder be triggers for you that you could agree to? That means, okay, someone's going to give me some feedback and it's not meant with judgment. Is that tangible?
I just wonder if it comes across belittling in a way.
That's why I said,
I find I challenged, I'm not trying to, I'm just curious.
you know, I think having the right phrases, I mean, and I don't mean to, like, but language is so important, right? The way you ask something, the word choice you use, and unless you have, like, a script to, like, as your foundation point, not to say that you can say something other than what's in the script, but you have key phrases that you know are going to be ways that are safe and that we're all agreeing that we're going to come together around to be helpful to each other.
I'm sorry.
Because I don't have that. I know for me, I don't have that skill, right? So.
What were you gonna say, Sarah?
I think it's maybe, and you might be incorrect, but I think it might be good for the person to come up with the rephrasing on their own. So you kind of ask the curious questions to get them to rephrase it. Does that make sense? Like on their own, rather than it feeling like a correction. But I don't know how you can always do that.
Well, we've cited a few, I've heard a few of you. There's sort of like that I wonder or I'm curious. Are you open? These are all like beginning statements that you might try. And the only thing I can say is, Kelly, is that you're right. And anybody can take a beautiful phrase and still come at it and be patronizing. So, but anybody can take a beautiful Montessori classroom and turn it into a Nazi camp too. You know what I mean? So like everything we do comes down to our intention and our openness.
Yeah, I'd just like us to try to give each other the best of intention too.
Right. So let's just assume that everybody in this room is carrying a toolbox. And we all are going to get some common tools. But we also have other tools. And some have more than others. They have experience, or they have children at home, more teaching experience, more training, a better upbringing in their own childhood that leaves them feeling more confident. Maybe in their toolbox is assertiveness and initiative. So we sort of have to realize that everybody's coming with a different toolbox, and we kind of have to say, okay, everybody's doing the best they can with the tools that they have right now. And if we can agree that we're gonna show up with our toolbox and we're gonna do the best we can, and part of our best is adding tools. But I might have different tools. And so that helped me become a less judgmental person. I used to be more judgmental. I came from a very critical blame shame family. And so when I really accepted, you know what, people are doing the best they can with the tools they have in that moment, that gave me a place of compassion. And in that, gave me a place to be able to accept feedback more too.
And we should frame that quote.
Yeah, can you say it again?
Well, and we have to see it as parents too. You know, these parents are doing the best they can with the tools they have in that moment. That's the phrase, is that the phrase? Okay, so that's kind of common lingo. Doing the best we can with the tools we have in this moment. So my tools might change moment to moment. If I'm having a really hard week, I left some of my tools at home. Or I'm sleep deprived and I can't even find my tools. I didn't find them. Okay, and they're right in front of me, but I'm so tired I can't find them. Okay, so I'm gonna propose this. I wanna honor maybe it'd be a good idea to get the big picture a little quicker, but still in increments. So what if we took an hour at the end of today and ended our day? And then there'd be a start and a stop time. And we could scaffold like a morning and an afternoon thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what time do we officially sort of finish today? Let's agree on that time.
Well, 7-hour day, right? Or right, Jen?
Jody?
Jody?
Oh, I'm just here at your disposal, so you guys have to sort of tell me, like, I don't know what everybody, this is more of a logistical question. What are you paid for? What are you expected to be at? You know, I'll be here whenever.
We typically end at 3:30 every day.
Okay,
And we can talk about the schedule of the other two people that aren't here
okay,
when you have a minute.
okay. So how about, you have things to do, but I would like to meet with you guys, if that's okay, at some point today.
Okay.
So we'll finish and agree on that time. So can we all agree to be back in this room at 2:30, assuming this room's available? If not, we'll go to the other room?
This room will be available.
That sounds great.
Okay. And would you bring with you for the rest of the week, if not today, but if you have one, a composition book or a little journal or a little way to be reflective for a few minutes? Okay? If you don't have it, paper, just bring something, because I don't have that sort of thing with me. Does everyone have access to that? Yeah. Okay. I know you're limited by what you do and don't have right now. Okay, and then in the meantime, let's prioritize who wants me when between now and then.
Can you go work with them first, if that's okay? Because I have some other things I have to get done, maybe borrow Jen for a second.
Okay, and I heard you needed to go home, Jen?
I need to get something to transfer data so we're ready to record.
Okay, so when would be a good idea for maybe you and Kelly and I to meet?
I could probably be back around 1:30.
Okay, so we'll meet at 1:30. We'll meet as a group at 2:30. Hopefully we don't take a whole hour, but we'll talk through whatever we need to talk through. So what time is it now? Probably 11:30?
It's 11:50.
11:50, yikes. Okay, so then, but you guys probably want to eat some lunch soon?
That'd be nice.
Jen, do you want to do ours after, since we'll still have Jody? And
That's fine, we can do after
Meet
2.
at 3:30?
Yeah.
that
Okay.
might be better so they can.
Great.
take that.
So, I don't have a lunch, and I'm gonna like probably just run out and grab some lunch. And then, how about if the three of us meet and eat lunch together?
Perfect.
And have like a working lunch, does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
I was gonna drive down Main Street, when I got some coffee this morning, there was a place called Mad Greens. Has anybody ever eaten there?
I actually
It's
was
brand
going
new.
for lunch.
Yeah, and it looked like it was gonna be healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Mad Greens and hopefully get a salad, or I'm assuming it's a salad kind of place, so I'm gonna go to Mad Greens and try that
I was
out.
actually just going to go home and warm up Chinese.
Okay, cool. So how far away is your home?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay, so then you would be back in like 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we agree to meet in your room at 12:30 at the latest and hopefully sooner? If you can make it back before then? That should give both of us enough time to go get
Yeah.
food and come back. Okay, awesome. 12:30 will work, as long as we need to work. And then Brooke, you and I just might not work today.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Are you okay if I leave this here?
I'm
Because I'm gonna use it.
Does anybody have a And then, does anybody by chance have like a turtle or an eagle in any form? Not real.
Okay, I would like, what we
Like
got
I have a
covered.
turtle, it's bigger, is that okay?
Could you bring a turtle, like a stuffed turtle or a toy
Do you have a
plastic turtle in any way? Does anybody have a geese?